Dude, I was talking to a buddy the other day, and he said last year he paid over $3,000 in credit card interest.
No, he did not.
Let's make sure that doesn't happen to any of the people that watch our videos. So in today's video, guys, we are talking about common credit card mistakes and how we are going to avoid them. Pretty solid.
I didn't like no, he did not. My one line I didn't like.
I was just gonna say, I did all that. I didn't like, no, he did not.
Hold on. I gotta think of what my line's gonna be. Oh my gosh. Welcome back, guys. I'm your bro Taylor.
And I'm your bro Ryan.
And like Ryan was saying earlier, today we're gonna be going over some mistakes that are costing people thousands. Number one that we really want to hammer home is falling into this trap of only paying your minimum payment. And the best way to kind of show just how painful this can be is going right into an example. So let's say someone has a $3,000 balance, well below the actual average, and they're sitting at about a 24% APR, the credit card interest rate, and they're only making their minimum payments, which minimum payments can be calculated slightly different ways, but in this instance, we're going to be doing interest plus 1%, which is a pretty common way. So your first minimum payment is going to be $90 a month, and if you were to go that route, the time to pay this off is over 19 years, and the total interest you're going to pay, not total as in principal and interest alone is over $5,300. You're paying more in interest than you initially borrowed.
Almost double.
Oh my gosh, it's insane. So as you can see, making these minimum payments, and certain ways minimum payments are calculated, you may almost never be able to pay this off. Especially, this is not taking into account if you're spending more on that credit card. I mean, it's just a horrible hole that you can almost never dig yourself out of.
So a few quick tips to make sure this does not happen to us are you're going to want to set up automatic payments above the minimum. Oftentimes you want to pay the full balance. We're going to try and make multiple payments. That's another cool, really easy hack. If you do bi-weekly payments or something like that, oftentimes you make an extra month's payment in the end of the year just because of the way the weeks fall. So that can help, again, get it a little bit faster, a little bit more at a time. And we have multiple videos about this, but the next tip is going to be use the debt avalanche method. So you're paying that higher interest amount first, and it's going to topple over to the point where it's just taking everything down and you're paying it all faster and faster and faster. Again, we have way more details on that in a whole other video. Please go check that out. So another big mistake a lot of people make is wanting or needing that money right now, so they do a cash advance on a credit card. Big no-no. Let's go into a good example really quick to show that off as well. So let's say you need a cash advance of only like $700. Typically, you're going to face a 5% fee on that money that you want to cash advance. So that's $35 right up front. The APR on cash advance is also much higher than your normal APR on a credit card, your normal interest rate. So in this case, it's 30%. And then let's say you do it in only 30 days. So in the end, you're going to pay $17 in interest and a $35 fee. Total fees and interest, you're paying over $52. That's terrible.
Yeah, because like Ryan said, the APR is higher, and on cash advance, the interest kicks in immediately. You're not waiting till 30 days from now. It's like, oh, interest will hit in there. No, it starts immediately. That's why you got greedy, and you just lost a tank of gas, essentially, just because you couldn't wait a little bit on $500, $700.
The biggest way we're going to avoid this, the best tip we can give you is to have an emergency fund. Even if it's small, even if you're building it slow, have an emergency fund. Emergencies will come up, and then in that case, you won't need that cash advance. You'll just go to your emergency fund, which we have a lot of great tips and information about that. Go watch all of those videos, but if you have questions, leave it in the comments. We'd love to answer those, but have that emergency fund just in case.
Now, another mistake that a lot of people fall into is one that most people don't even realize is a mistake, is getting a lot of store credit cards. Oftentimes, these have some of the worst terms you can possibly get. Their APRs are typically higher, averaging around 30% as opposed to 24% on your standard, and even lower oftentimes in certain areas. So this is just a easy mistake to fall into because you're like, well, I always shop at this store, and now they're offering these incentives, but that's only going to make you spend even more than you would have normally. And if you carry a balance there, the interest rate is so much higher, so it really is easy to dig yourself into a hole with this type of credit card. Now, of course, an easy way to avoid that is either don't get the card, but if you're dead set on it, you're like, I shop here all the time, still set up automatic payments. That's a great way to help avoid this.
And next biggest mistake that we keep hearing, and I don't know where it came from, is credit utilization confusion. The credit limit is not there to hit it. It's not a goal. It's not something you want to achieve. You don't want to get close to that number. So many people I've heard say, oh, I've hit my credit limit. Now what? Pay it off. What do you mean? Like, don't do that again. And they think it's a goal to hit. The bank's setting a goal for them. No, 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 no. Do not do that. Your utilization should stay below 30% at most, for the most part. Unless you have a quick purchase that you're going to pay off right away. That's the only time, short term, you should go above that number. But other than that, keep it below 30%, ideally below 10%.
Yeah.
So again, you don't want that balance sitting, especially close to your credit limit. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, some people seem to be under the misconception that like, oh, well, if I don't carry a balance, I'm not getting a credit score or credit history or anything from... No, you're getting a good history by being at a zero balance. Your utilization is at a great rate. So I don't really know where that came from, but I have heard it a few times actually from like actual people that I know. I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense how you think that.
And also another thing people need to realize is if you have multiple credit cards, that utilization goes across all of them.
Yeah.
So if you say, oh, I'm keeping this one really low, so this one's good, but this one's bad. No, they combine. So your credit limit across all your cards and your balance on all your cards, that's your overall credit profile utilization. So just be aware of that. Again, have a monitoring service. A lot of them are free, and just check that every once in a while. That's going to be your best bet there. And don't overspend. Just keep it below 30%. Most of them calculate it for you. You don't have to do the math.
And speaking about having multiple credit cards, the last and final mistake that we wanted to mention that a lot of people seem to be making is going on this new credit card spree where they just keep applying for it. That's not what you want to do. Oftentimes, simply for applying for a credit card causes a small dip in your credit score because it's a hard pull on your credit to see if you're eligible for this, causing a few point drop. And of course, the more you do that in a short time, the more exacerbated that issue becomes. And for example, when I was buying my first house, my lender actually told me of this story where she was doing this whole pre-approval process with someone, but then like as their offer was accepted, but before they closed, they decided to go out and buy this truck.
Oh, no.
And they have a new form of credit right there. And that pull made them not eligible for their pre-approval anymore, and they couldn't buy the house. They weren't able to close.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, that's slightly different in the sense that that was a car, but it works the same way in which a new pull suddenly, like, oh my goodness, your whole credit profile is changed now. You no longer qualify for what we initially pre-approved you for. So it's just a dangerous game that you want to be vigilant about. Of course, we're not saying that you can't have multiple credit cards, but you just don't need to get all of them within a 6-month frame.
Yeah, just do it slow and steady over time. You don't even need, especially in a 6-month period, why would you need that many credit cards?
Yeah.
Oftentimes, you need a bigger credit limit. And oftentimes, you can just call the bank and say, hey, I've been with you guys for a bit. I've clearly shown I have good credit. You monitor my credit score. It's looking good. Can I get a increase in my credit limit? And they'll do what's called a soft pull. So you don't have to worry about it hitting your actual profile, your account. And they'll still raise your credit limit. I've done that a number of times.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's not a terrible idea to do it once a year, once every other year, and just try it out. And worst case, it's not pulling your credit. So worst case is they say no and nothing happens.
Yeah. All right, guys. And of course, while we only mentioned 5 mistakes, there are plenty more you can make. So always be vigilant. There are a lot of good practices that you should be implementing to help avoid a lot of these mistakes. But as always, if you have some more questions or concerns, or you want to recount a personal story about you experiencing this, we'd love to hear it down in the comments below. We love interacting with you guys. And as always, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Be sure to tune in next week and like, subscribe, and share.
Stop wasting money on that dumb shit and instead put it in investment. I know it's tempting to spend it and be broke again.
Dude, I was talking to a friend the other day, and he was telling me how last year he paid over $3,000 in credit card interest.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh is not what I meant to say.